I was just stretching my eyes. I'm doing my eye exercises, which I'm sure the wrinkles on my forehead are like, yeah, thanks a lot. We're good. We're good up here. Oh, it's morning. It's morning. And I just got up. Oh, Shanana, nice to see you. Nice to see you. And Blonde Cheryl. Yay. Yay, some people keeping me company on this gloomy Monday morning. My goodness. Thank you for giving me the reason to get out of bed and stop scrolling on TikTok myself. Huh? Ah. But I have my tea, which is going to get me going. We've got a decluttering party shortly after today's, almost actually, what am I saying, immediately after. So good morning after today's TikTok live. So in about less than an hour, there will be a decluttering party. And the funny thing is, good morning. Oh, a bunch of people are showing up. Tracy and Barbara and Spreading Sunshine. Spread some over here, will you? Roderick and Becky and German Maid and Will and Taryn and Rebecca and Shannon. And I'm just going to keep on saying this. There we go. It's funny. So we have a decluttering party at 9 a.m. today, Eastern. Right after this TikTok live. And I was thinking to myself, what's something fairly simple and very kind of surface area clutter that I could work on while I'm also, helping people if they need it. I'm being available to them. And I literally have piles right here in an empty tote. I still may do some of it, but I was going to put away some of my cold weather clothes until the weather turned. And now I'm so glad I did not pack all of my winter clothes away because it's getting cold and damp and gray. And yeah, I'm sorry to hear about the torrential rain in Ohio, Barbara Dean. No fun. Good morning, Therapy Gal Sue. Good morning. Good stuff happening. Okay, let's make some good stuff happening. Even on a morning where you wake up and it's gray and damp out. Not my fave. But we're here. We're queer. Get used to it. Oh, funny. Okay. So German Maid says, I want the cold. Bring it here. If I could. It's been 90 degrees. How about this? I'll pack a box of cold and you send me a box of 90 degrees. Huh? Yeah. It is interesting what affects how we feel, how we think, and what we do. It really is. And, this is what I say to myself, so I'll offer it to you. Okay, we get rain in West Virginia. You know what? How about this? Because we had a Zoom call with friends of ours last night who live up in New England, and they've been having like 17, 15, 16 weekends in a row that are just rainy. So just think, we are definitely not in the drought portion of the year, so that's good. Hopefully this water will do some good that we don't even get. Mama Pepper saying my garden is flourishing. Yeah, so sometimes we need the balance. I think that's the thing is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And sometimes we get more than we want or need. And hey, isn't that what we talk about when we talk about clutter? Clutter is not, let's use in rain terms. So clutter is not when it's all dry and you have why can't I think of the word? I just said it. When you have a drought, like when you need water, like lack of water is a drought. So lack of clutter, lack of stuff in your home can feel like a drought. I have nothing and I need it. I'm drying up and I need it to survive. But then the rain starts, and at a certain point, you get to your satiation point, like when it's soaked in a good way, like just the right amount, a la Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And then anything over that just right point is a bit waterlogged, is a bit overspilling. Even, the things that are meant to contain it are overflowing. So think about that as far as your clutter goes. Your clutter is that evidence of too much, and instead of in the rain world, it's too much stuff in the in your house world. Now this does not mean let's go get a drought, let's clean everything out. No, but what it is saying I can control the quantity of items, that my house isn't overflowing with stuff. So we can't control the weather. We can't control some things in the world. But what we can control is the stuff in our house, the quality, the quantity, where it goes, how you use it. We can control more than we think initially, what we think and how we feel. We can control sometimes what we use our time for. We're spending our time today for however long you're here. I'll be here until about 8:57 or so, because I want to hop off a little bit to set up for the decluttering party. And hey, Kat Roby is here. SBB, her scheduled Beth Blinders. Now, again, I always jump into things right away because I see familiar names, but in case you don't know me and you're just scrolling on a gray morning on TikTok, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and this is a TikTok live on Monday, June 9th. Yep, I was right. Monday, June 9th, 8:06 Eastern Time, and I'll be here for almost an hour. I'm a decluttering life coach. I help people with their clutter via Zoom and TikTok lives and YouTube lives, etc., etc. All right? But I'm here to remind you that you can do something about some of the stuff that bugs you. And when you practice realizing your power of being able to change something that before you thought was unchangeable, a la your clutter situation, is that you'll realize that you can use that gift, that skill, that power, that knowledge, that system, whatever you want to call it. You can use that in other areas of your life. You were afraid to throw away something, give away something that your grandmother gave you, but you did it and you survived. Maybe that confidence in doing something you were afraid of will get you to be calling your local representative and speaking up about something you don't agree with. Cannot hurt to practice being brave. So there we go. Kara's garden. I bet Kara's garden is blooming with all the weather here. Huh? All right. So Pamela Rod says, start the day with good intentions of decluttering, and then procrastination gets the best of me. Don't let procrastination get the best of you. Give it something. Give it the least of you. Give it a little something. This is how I like to deal with these things myself. I love it. Therapy Gal Sue is getting ready for new windows today. Rooms are decluttered to do the project. Okay, so procrastination. Now, I'm sure we could look it up, and I know there are many ways to approach it. Here's my approach that I will give to you. I ask myself, I'm always interviewing myself, I've been seeing those Kermit the Frog here from Sesame Street News, right? Oh my God, so funny. And they always catch him. He's talking to somebody in the background. Then he realizes he's on camera. And he's a puppet. I love it. Anyhow, interview yourself like you were on the news. So, what is the one sentence, just one sentence that kind of goes by on the ticker tape, on the thing in your brain, that when you say, I'm going to do that thing, what's the one? Yeah, no, don't do that. What is your procrastination, what I call your backseat driver? What does your backseat driver tell you that you believe, and so then you say, oh yeah, I'm not going to do it. So I offer to you getting in touch with, okay, I think I get overwhelmed. Okay, so you think this is overwhelming. Overwhelm, and here, please, everybody, do yourself a favor. I am probably not going to write a book because I have written books before, and at the moment, I'm it doesn't feel like something I want to do. It just doesn't. Notice, when you don't feel like doing something, you're probably not going to do it. I mean, I'm a human like you guys. The reason I say this is get yourself a notebook. Get yourself a notebook, and put on the front of it, Destination Decluttered. And every time you show up, write down the things that are resonating. Okay? So a couple of things. Overwhelm to me is a feeling that occurs when I think of the project. I think of anything in too big. I use too wide a lens to look at something. Now, I like to think of, and this is fun to play with, and I like to play with ideas of what is the opposite. So if I feel overwhelmed by looking at the big picture, Perhaps I will feel less overwhelmed if I just focus down on like a little pixel of the picture, a little tile of the picture. When I focus down on something small and feel like I can do that something small, it gets me going. It gets me out of, and I like to use car and road trip analogies. It gets me out of neutral and park and actually gets me in gear and moving. And once you get moving with one little thing, it's like standing there at the kitchen sink. Well, I'm only going to do this one spoon. Okay, well, now my hands are wet and the dishwasher's open. I might as well do that fork. And that plate, you'll get started. So Pamela Rod, if your thing is overwhelm, I want you to think of the opposite, which would be looking down, chunking down, as I like to say. Also, a feeling of overwhelm can be your nervous system all kind of zhuzhed up, calming down your nervous system. Now, I use the word down a lot. Again, if I were writing a book, this is what I would put. I would probably call this all the downs. So sitting down, quieting down, breathing down. Maybe I slow down how I speak to myself, outside and in. I put my shoulders down. So all of the downs, there are many downs to make you feel better in your energetic state and also just your physical state too. Do a scan from the top of your head to down to the tips of your toes. See how I got the down in there? Down into the tips of your toes. How are you feeling physically? Because if you're not feeling good physically, that can be difficult to do anything. Can you do something? Are you doing something to make yourself feel better physically? Physically, energetically, and then chunking down and writing down all the times. Now, Cynthia C. brings up a good one too. It's too time consuming. Decluttering is too time consuming. Now, I wouldn't have been a good English teacher, but I like to read and I love to play with words. It's too time consuming. So how's that? Decluttering consumes my time. It takes up my time. So a couple of things I want to offer to you is when you spend time doing something that you don't feel is worth it, that you don't get a reward from, you're not going to want to waste your time doing something. So what I offer to you is to think about it. What's in it for me? I know that people, that's greedy, that's selfish. What's in it for me? But seriously, obviously there's something, Cynthia C., about decluttering that you think does not benefit you. I will tell you that I grew up in a cluttered home. I am digging out the cluttered home that I grew up in because my mother still lives there. I have been a cluttered person for decades of my life. And I will tell you, the thing that I freaking love about being decluttered is the easiness, the ease that it brings to my life. That it is easy to clean up my house from the detritus of the everyday living. It is easy to find time to do things I want to do because I'm not saying I can't do it. I have to declutter my house all the time. So I ask you, what's something positive? And decluttering too is learning a skill, is doing something in the fewest steps possible to get the results you want. I love that because I was a process engineer for a while. I also love to declutter my brain, to not walk around when I feel like it's all a whirlwind up there, but that I've written down things and I'm making the things happen and I'm feeling good about it. So I walk through life feeling calmer, quieter, and more confident. I didn't mean to make the C, do all that, but more confident that I don't have to worry about forgetting something because I've got it written down and I check my notes and I check my calendar. So ask yourself, if you don't see why you're doing it, what's in it for me? What would you like your home to look like? What do you want it to function like? How do you want to feel in your home? And if you can't come up with good answers for that, what I say is start with the bad answers. Fold the paper in half in one of your pictures in your own Destination Decluttered notebook, of which I will not be selling any because that's just more clutter. Get yourself a 50-cent spiral-bound notebook at Staples. Put Destination Decluttered on it, and every time you show up to one of my TikTok lives or the declutter parties or when you're going through it yourself, these are your notes about how to declutter that mean something to you. It's not just the same thing for everybody. But if you can't think of good answers, come up with the bad answers, but write them only on one side of the paper. Then on the other side, How would you rather have it be? If you don't have something good to aim for, you may not be aiming for anything. I know this personally. Now Kara has got something she's going to make the most of today. She's got a list of things she's going to do that ideally are going to make her feel better. She's at PT, physical therapy, going to the post office, mailing out something that somebody wants. Times 5 list, she's going to list more things and take pictures of things because she is decluttering and listing things on the internet to make money. She's going to work. Yep, because work, work doesn't have to be bad. She's going to create a garden tour TikTok. You guys, Kara does great TikToks. Yeah, she's going to go to the dump, as we would say in Massachusetts at my house. She's going to pay bills for peace of mind that she doesn't have to worry about forgetting it. And she's going to do laundry so that she has clean clothes to wear. Now notice all of the things that Kara listed, there is something good in it for her. Physical therapy is going to get her stronger and feeling better. Going to the dump means she's getting crap out of her house. Paying bills means she doesn't have to worry about the bill collector coming. So notice if you don't have a motivation, create one. Yeah. Oh, I love this. Jessie says, good morning. Starting my week off of work for a deep declutter. Jessie, I love that. But I want to remind you, okay? And this is just such good stuff because I want you to have a good week of if you've taken a week off of work. Now, I am coming from a decluttering life coach perspective, but I will tell you, please, for the love of all of your life that is holy and important, don't spend your entire week decluttering. You will run out of gas, you will run out of energy, and you will begin, and you will have no fun. If you have a day off, spend half of your day, a third of your day decluttering, a third of your day doing something you really want to do that you can't typically do when you're not at work, and then how about a third of your day just farting around? Do not spend too much time. I know we tend to think all or nothing. I can't do it while I'm working, so when I have this week done, all I'm going to do is declutter. No. You're going to run out of gas. You're going to get resentful. It's not going to work. You're going to spin your wheels. So please, at the beginning of this week that you have off from work, schedule the decluttering for when you have the most focus and energy, because you're going to need focus and energy to declutter. All right? And then clock out. I know many of us are of that generation that you probably worked jobs that you had to punch a clock or whatever, or sign out. Stop that job. Feel good about what you did decluttering, and go use another part of your brain and your body. Go and have some fun. Okay? I demand you do that. All right. So Cat Mama says, I want peace. Peace in your home. Peace in your head. Peace in your heart. Peace in the world. For Christ's sake. Right? Clutter makes me anxious. See, I think what it is to me, visual clutter gets, I do not like that. I like a calm feeling, knowing everything is where it's supposed to be. And I am telling you, I hope this rain is not throwing it off. But within this week, the stuff that's been up on the living area of our house for 2 months practically is going to be started to be moved around. I'm so excited about that because we've had basement work done. All right? Yes, okay, and Becky is also offering to anybody who thinks that they're going to do an all-day clutter. Becky has said this too, so it's not just me. Becky is saying, I've tried an all-day declutter. You will implode. Have fun and take care of yourself. Yes, and Jessie, please really try. If I were rewriting your sentence, instead of saying, I will try to work in some downtime, because that's still kind of ambiguous, how about I will work in some downtime? You need it in order to fill your tank so you can declutter on the next day. Downtime is important for uptime. Downtime, that's probably a good one. Scheduling some downtime. Ooh, that's a new one for all the downs. I'm going to write that one down. If you ever want to hydrate while, I forgot the second word, downtime. If you ever want to hydrate while I'm doing a TikTok live or YouTube live, grab a giant glass of water, and anytime I say a certain word over and over again, feel free to take a sip. If you had picked, and you can pick, because I repeat a lot of my words and a lot of my phrases and a lot of the concepts all the time, because repetition is a way of learning. Repetition also allows me that when I think it, I feel it to be true, I say it. If I think it and I'm not so convinced that it's going to be helpful, I might keep it in. But what I say to you is, if you pick a word that I tend to repeat, every time I say it, take a sip. Drinking down some water is going to be good for you. So, yeah, if you've got years of depression clutter piled up, Jesse, please know that you will not, and I say this with love in my heart, you will not and cannot get rid of years worth of depression clutter in 1 week, even though you want to. Our brains are creative machines. Our brains are wonderful at inventing things that have never been invented before. That's what the brain is the best for. The brain is like that artsy creative person that you know that doesn't know what time it is, that forgets to take a shower, that thinks it can do all these things, but doesn't really have a grasp on the calendar. Okay? PM 11208, I think I'm going to be seeing you at 9 o'clock. It'll be a while. Yeah. Nice to see you chiming in and turning up. So what I offer to you is, you have multiple parts of your brain and the way you work. Don't use the wrong tool for the wrong thing. What do I mean by that? Don't use your brain as a file cabinet or a calendar or a clock. Use a file cabinet for a file cabinet. Use a clock for a clock and use a calendar for a calendar outside of you. Use these tools so your brain, so it's like use tools outside of you so that your brain can do what it does best. Think of it as like the creative genius and a really competent admin. They both work well together, like peanut butter and chocolate. Two great tastes that taste great together. So use the admin part of your brain. Chunking down things, saying, I get this idea, I'm going to get it all done. Oh, you know what? You probably are not going to get it all done. So let's factor in some time for you to do it and then take a break. Let's schedule the time. That's your admin. That's your court reporter. That's you trying to attach that to reality, because you will run out of gas. Now, there we go. I have a trip to the greenhouse scheduled. Love that. I used to love to go to greenhouses, even though I never bought any plants, just to be surrounded by them. There we go. Now, Patty is saying, Cat Mama is reinforcing, yes, you need to schedule fun. Everybody, do you have fun scheduled this week? It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? It's 8:23 in the morning on Monday. Do you know where your fun is scheduled for today? I do. I'm going to yoga tonight. I consider that fun, even though I struggle with my balance. Where is the fun? Where is the fun? Where is the love? Where is the love? Ooh. Ow. Where is the fun on your schedule today? Never mind, I'm going to do the stuff in the future. No. Today, where is your fun? Schedule it. What time is it going to start? Make sure it happens before you go to bed tonight, or maybe your fun is in bed tonight. Who knows? Hubba hubba. So PM11208 is trying to practice different forms of letting go. Sister-in-law does mason jar and flowers, and DD pick up guest book for party, and letting go of the martyrdom, letting go of the things that don't serve you. Okay? Notice, write these things down, people. If you do not write things down, it'll take you longer for things to click and learn. When you were in school, you would take notes to help you learn something. I am here to basically teach you some stuff, how to think of things in a different way, how to notice how the way you think affects how you feel, and then to build on that, how you think and feel affects what you do or don't do. So I would say, if you're trying to let go of something but you're struggling with it, write this down. What are the positive things you get from that item? If you are being a martyr, what are the positive things? Why are you resistant to letting go of that? And I know this is deep stuff, but you're a deep person. You have depth. You're not shallow. You're not superficial. You're deep. You've got some good stuff in you. Find it out. Find it out, because this is how you can change what you don't want happening. Okay? Why am I hanging on to this item? And the answer to that question is, don't just ask questions and say, I don't know why I do this. That is a statement. Turn that statement into a question. Why do I do this? If you don't know why you do something, ask yourself a question and find out why you do it. I don't know why I do this all the time. I don't know why I am hanging on to this, I don't know, egg beater. I'm making stuff up. And, right, okay, so Cat Mama says it's letting go of the old me. Here's something that I noticed about myself. When people say I let go of your old me, or I've seen people that are like coachy people of a certain way, they'll say, like with weight loss or whatever, you won't even recognize yourself in 6 months. Well, I want to recognize myself. I don't want to throw out in the entirety of me. It can be scary. It can be scary to say, I am letting go of the old me. But how about this? You're just letting go of the part of you that isn't what you want to keep anyway. You're not letting go of all of the old you. You are keeping the good stuff. You are deciding, you are decluttering, and you're saying, I'm going to keep this, which is the part of me that I like, when I'm generous and loving and fun and encouraging. And I'm going to try to get rid of it when I'm a crabby bitch, when I am mean to people, when I am snippy to my husband, when I cut somebody off in traffic. That part of me, I want to decrease. So you will get to know, the only way you will get to know the new you is by making room for her, it, them, they, him. Making room for that part of you that you can't currently do now, because that room is being taken up by something you don't want. So I say that to, again, chunking it down. Being afraid that you're getting rid of all of you or all of your stuff can be fearful, because you want to keep some of it, but you don't want to gut react and then keep all of it, because then you've got the good stuff and the bad stuff mucked up. This is why calming down your nervous system and creating a sense of safety, that you're not going to not recognize yourself. You're going to be a new and improved version of yourself. You're going to take the things you love and you're going to amplify it. You're going to take the things you love in your home and you're going to give them space and show them off so you can see them on a daily basis. Okay. So Pamela is saying, piano parents gave me, when I was a little girl, and they're both gone. It's the last thing I have from them that they gave me? No. It's the last probably physical item they gave you? They gave you stories. They gave you piano lessons, I assume. They gave you life. They probably gave you, and I'm not singling you out, they probably gave you some poor ways of dealing with clutter. They probably gave you some unhelpful habits. They probably gave you some good ideas of how to live, but maybe in with the good, they gave you some habits that are not working out for you at this time in your life. It's a mixed bag. I know this because that's how I am. My parents taught me a lot of good stuff and, man, a lot of not so helpful things. So notice these things. Notice that you can. This is why we slow down and we separate out and we sort out our clutter. We don't just throw everything into a dumpster and then be starting again fresh. That is an approach, but I am team donate versus team dumpster. But if the only way you can handle physically and mentally getting rid of items that you really don't want is by putting them in a dumpster, I'm not going to declutter shame you. Kara is saying, I love this because weather. I'm switching to summer curtains and washing the velvet, even if it's only 61 degrees out. Now, I say only 61 degrees because, yeah, that's not necessarily summer weather. Okay. L, once again, notice everybody. Notice the recurring themes that come up. Overwhelm. L is saying so true. The fear, and fear is one of the reasons. This is probably the number one reason you don't start something. Look for the ingredient of fear. What am I afraid of? And I don't mean this in a bad way. Go find the fear. You're going to find it. L says true. The fear of the process and how long it will take is big. Well, what I want to offer you is fear of something big is also could be fear of something really small and inside you. Now, fear of the process, I try to take the fear out of the process because I teach you a process. There are literally, I should look it up right now. I'm going to look it up right now because I want to prove to you that are resources available for you to learn a process. Because I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives. This month I started doing them almost every day. I think I did that in May too. And all of the lives I do are downloaded. I'm waking up my computer. They're downloaded and then uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So if you are afraid that you don't know a process or the fear of the process, anybody, I've got people here that have coached with me and showed up to YouTube to decluttering parties and things like that there. It's nothing to be afraid of. Maybe you're afraid of feeling feelings. I'm afraid of feeling sad. I'm afraid of feeling bad. I'm afraid of feeling a feeling I don't want to feel. What I want to offer to you is there are, as of right now, and today there'll be 2 more, this TikTok live and the YouTube live that I'm doing this afternoon. There are 733 videos on my TikTok, on my YouTube page. I always scramble those things, that help walk you through a process. Now, it's organic and it's natural, like us conversing. It's not sit down and number 1, but usually it is. Top to bottom, see how you feel physically, see how you feel mentally. If you don't like it, change it. Chunk down, write down, then rev yourself up and schedule things. There is a recurring process. But fear can make things seem overwhelming. Do you ever think about that when you're afraid of something and you're really afraid of the shadow it casts, but if you turn around, you realize it could be a little tiny thing. But all you've seen is the shadow, and you've been too afraid to turn around for fear that the thing that you're afraid of is as big as the shadow. And it ends up that what you're afraid of is this tiny little scared little kid in the back seat saying, don't do that, it might hurt. I might get in trouble. Somebody may not love me. I may be abandoned. Okay? Now, I love it. One of Jesse's motivation is I'm so excited for kids to see the difference and live better lives. How about you too? How about the kid inside of you see the difference and live feeling like you're living a better life? Yeah. With life stage changes coming up, it can make decluttering a little bit more hiccuping. Completely. That's why you learn to declutter and you learn kind of a structured process, but within it is flexibility. It really is. For example, even just me, flexible, and scheduling. I know that in a few months, I know in August, I will be off the digital grid, you guys, and I'm telling you this now. I will be off the digital grid. I will not be doing TikTok lives or YouTube lives for almost 2 weeks because I'm going to be on tour with my husband. He's in a band and I'm tagging along. And then part of that tour is going to be on a ship. So I tell you this now because I will also be planning on prepping for that and realizing I will be doing different things during that time. So life has different seasons. Sometimes somebody's graduating college. Sometimes you're retiring. Sometimes you're going through menopause. There are seasons in your life. But if you have a process, a framework that works within those things, you can use that as, a framework, but work it around the life you're currently having. Yeah, Rod, I love it. Yeah, I'm willing to let you declutter my house. And this is the answer. Yeah, no. Nope. But thanks. Yay. Yeah. Good for me. Fun. Damn it, Donna. Hell yeah. You know what I've gotten really good doing? Decluttering what I don't want to do in my life because it makes room for what I do want to do. And I'll be honest, even some of the things that I do like to do, I will be getting them off of my calendar so I can more clearly and easily go on this trip. If I've experimented with it before, I like to travel and I do one-on-one coaching and I do these TikTok and YouTube lives. I've experimented with doing those when I am traveling, and occasionally I have done them when I'm on the road. And sometimes I decide not to because are plenty of resources for you guys, pardon me, itchy ears. And it is important for me, just like you, to step away from work, even if you enjoy it, I love that, Jesse. I'm going to amplify this because this is so good. because this is one of the things. This is why almost 100 of us are here right now listening to this TikTok live. It's 8:35 in the morning. In case you're just meeting me, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching here on TikTok and on YouTube and on the internet is called Destination Decluttered. I do a lot of stuff, but mainly it's a lot of cool free stuff and paid stuff for the people on my mailing list. We are doing a decluttering party in like 25 minutes. Seriously, it's on Zoom, and if you want the link, you sign up for the mailing list, you buy a ticket to the party, half of your ticket goes to a worthy cause, and you show up, and we have even more of a connection. I do the lives often, and if you want to know when they are scheduled and when they're not scheduled, so you can plan your schedule around not seeing me and not have to worry, I wonder where she is. Again, that's for the people on the mailing list. If you like what you're hearing and you want to find out more, the mailing list is free. You just sign up at my website, destinationdecluttered.com. Okay? Now, one of the things I love, and I was saying, the reason that so many of us are showing up right now in this, whatever stage of life you are, and trying to figure out the declutter thing, is because many of us, through no fault of our own, just were not taught a good, easy, repeatable, consistent process to declutter. I was not taught this growing up. I learned it on the streets. I learned it on the streets of Pier 1 and Filene's and Mikasa and owning and thrifts, all this stuff. But I love that Jessie is saying, I'm going to have the kids help make choices on keeping and trashing toys as a teaching opportunity for them. Okay? So what I offer to you is you are teaching them the skills of, and if you have your notebook in front of you, remind yourself that decluttering is decision making. Deciding what they want to keep of their toys and what they're okay with, what they feel safe in letting go of. Where they feel safe in their nervous system. And I mean, they're not going to know this, but they're going to feel okay about letting go of something. There's other things that's going to activate them. If you say get rid of it and they say no, honor that, but allow them to feel what it feels like to make decisions on what you have in your life and what you don't. I love that idea. Now, Jennifer is saying, and I love this too, how do I declutter my husband's stuff? I'm constantly putting in the 2 unused bedrooms. Ugh. Okay. You don't. You can put it in the other bedroom, but you know what you're doing? You're basically enabling him to continue to be cluttered. Okay? So what I offer to you, Jennifer, and I mean this sincerely, is change your clutter habits and change your decluttering habits. Notice where you clutter and change that. How do you change that? By noticing where you put things where they don't belong and how long you basically allow them to be there before you do something about it. But I just offer this to you because each one of us, every single one of us has tried to change ourselves in one way, shape, or form. And it's not that easy. It's doable and it's a worthy goal, but it's not simple or easy, but it is worth it. You know how hard it is to change you, and you are aware of everything you do at all times, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, everything. And even with all that insider knowledge, literally and metaphorically, it's still wicked hard to change yourself. Imagine not having access to all of that insider info and trying to change somebody else. And I say this with love for you and your husband, because everybody on the planet has their own clutter journey. Everybody on the planet has their own relationship with stuff. You don't know what connections he has with those things. Now, I will offer that you can have a sit-down convo with him to say, I don't care what you do with your stuff, but it can't be in the areas, you cannot clutter up the public areas. You can have a space for your stuff, but where we live mutually, let's mutually keep it clean. But I just offer to you that notice what yourself, learn from this, learn and make sure nobody can point a finger at you. Why are you cluttering? Why are you dealing with my clutter? Because you can't hear the stories of his. Why don't you deal with your own clutter? Okay? And I say this with your kids too. Teach them the skills. Teach them skills. Be patient but firm. And love behind everything. Now, Kara is saying, and I totally believe this too, and I'm sure we've all seen, I think her name is Christy something. who does the how long does it actually take on your FYP here on TikTok. Few things, this is what Kara says, few things will take as long as you think they will. Notice your brain thinking of a timeline. Your brain is not a clock. Your brain is not a good clock. It's going to overestimate how much time you have to get some things done and underestimate times. It's not a good thing. So she says you can't finish it if you don't start. That's true. And when you start, you have the ability to stop at any time you want. Okay? Yeah, put a timer on. Now, and I love this, Kara's offering when you're playing with kids. Put a timer on, make it a game, make it fun. We called that keep giveaway. Keep giveaway, keep giveaway. And notice what your gut reaction is. No, I don't want it. Yes, I do. That thing. Sometimes you dwell on things too long, but you want to feel a good, yep, no, I don't want that anymore, as opposed to fear. Now, so talk about getting other people involved in decluttering. Learn the lessons and practice the lessons. Talking about fun made me realize I'm taking everything on and not insisting on others' participation. Yeah. How is that working out for you? And I say that with love, you know that. But it's not working out for you, or else you wouldn't mention it. You would be like, I love it. I do everything and those guys have fun and it's lighting me up like a Christmas tree. No. When you're doing everything and somebody else is doing nothing, at least for me, I'll just speak for myself, I get resentful. Why am I doing everything and you're doing nothing? And resentful is not good to have in a relationship. Now I love it. Oh, that's fun. Jesse says, yesterday I took 2 tower speakers I've moved around for 20 years and turned them into some flower boxes. What a freaking cool idea. I love it. I love it. But yeah, resentment just is not a good feeling. It's going to explode in some place. You are trying to keep yourself quiet, and imagine the vibe in 2 cars. We have 1 car of people going on a road trip. We have 2 cars. There's 2 cars next to each other. Both of them are on a road trip and both have the same amount of people in it. Now, in 1 car, there's a little kid in the back seat who's complaining and saying things and whatever, and the driver turns around. Let's say the parent, the dad, the mean dad, turns around and says, "Shut the fuck up or I'll turn the car around." Well, it might be quiet in that car after that explosion, but you can bet that that is not a good quiet in the car. Everybody's afraid, so they're quiet, but inevitably those fears and things are going to come bursting out some other place. The other car, same scenario. Little kid is in the back saying this, saying this, saying this. This is your brain is your backseat driver. Part of your brain is anyway. And instead of turning around and saying, shut up, you turn around and you listen to them. Now, you don't necessarily believe everything they say, but you give them, make them feel seen and heard. And you see where they're coming from. And you understand a little bit about what's going on underneath. And then you say, okay, I've heard you. I get that. And you raise a valid point. You're hungry. Let's get you a snack. But we are going to drive to a place that you've never been to before. But that's okay. Trust me that we're not going to go anywhere scary. So I offer this to you. If you are keeping things tamped in underneath, and I am not a licensed mental health professional. I'm a human being has gone through this herself. And I just want to share that bringing things to the surface is okay. Bringing it to the surface at a pace and at a place that feels good to you by writing this stuff down, okay? And when you understand what's going on behind what you're doing, you can decide whether you want to do it or not. And notice I always said extra dishes. Am I doing the dishes, which is not normally what I do, but my husband does it, but he's been really busy doing other things? Am I doing the dishes with resentment in my heart? I can't believe I have to do this. This is his job. Rah. Or do I realize that he's been doing a lot of other stuff and he's tired and I'm going to do something nice so he has one less thing? I do it with love in my heart versus resentment. Notice how what you do and how you do it. What's the vibe in you when you're doing something? Notice that. You can be doing a process. You can be doing something and you get to choose how you feel when you are doing it. You have that power. You have that choice. Choose wisely. How do you want to feel? When you feel resentment, that means your body and brain are feeling crappy for the duration of until you decide to not feel resenty anymore. But sometimes resentment means that there's some friction there. How can you resolve it, not just short term? Now, this is inside you. I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm always decluttering, but it's not sticking. I always clean it all up and then everybody comes messing it out. You know? Speak up for what you want. Make people aware that you don't like how you are being treated or the way things are being done. You know? Now, here's a fun thing to play with too. Pretend it's not your home at all and it's not your family at all if you are working with other people, if you are living with other people. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. Instead of that, you're in an office environment. You're in an office. You're in a business. How would you treat the people in your life? How would you approach this if you were a coworker and your coworker was not doing what was expected of them? Do they have clear instructions? Do they know it's their responsibility? Is it their project? Were they given a deadline? Are they being held accountable if they miss a deadline? Are they getting progress reports? You know, take the drama away. And there is drama and emotion that can be involved in both places, but primarily more in the home. So why not pretend it's an office and turn down the drama? What would you do if that person was an employee and you maybe were the boss and you knew how you wanted things done? Do they know how you want it? Do they know how you want it when you're working in that ice cream store and you need to clean up at night? Do they know the protocol? What is expected when you close down the ice cream store every day? What's expected when you open up the ice cream store every day? Can you tell I worked in an ice cream store in high school and college? Yeah. There we go. I love it. Butterfly 979 is already noticing this stuff. I used the phrase, thank you for contributing. Thank you for your contribution to the mutual maintenance of our shared household. You would probably say the same thing to a coworker or somebody who worked for you when they did something as part of the project. Thank you for your contribution. You know? Yeah. You know what? Judy says, I think my adult daughter feels it's my job since I'm retired and she has to work. Well, you know who's proving her right is you by cleaning up after her. And I say this to kind of kick you lovingly in the pants. You are, okay, if she thinks that's how it is, how are you informing her that that is not the case? That it is no longer a mother wiping the bum of a little girl, but you are retired and she's an adult and you're both adults in a home. You are now roommates. You are no longer mother-daughter. You are now roommates. How would you approach this if it was a roommate? You know? So you can change the dynamic if you want to. I'm just offering that as a statement. Notice you have a choice to keep it going the same way, clutter-wise, otherwise, and live with those consequences. You also have the choice to change things, and you don't blow up and change it all at once. You start organically and small and simple with little things. You wait until you feel better physically, because if you try to have a conversation with somebody and you have a raging headache, it ain't going to work out. You make sure you feel good in your emotional, nervous system body. How you do that is you calm yourself down. You also write down the things that are important to you that you want to make sure you get your points across. It's like when you have to have a meeting with an employee and they are not meeting expectations. You have to have your facts in front of you and making sure that you are coming through this, not getting the drama all dramaed up in it, but coming with facts. I've noticed at this time, you showed up late at this time, you clocked in late here, you didn't practice this in, and I'm saying this so we can work together to make this a better situation because I don't want to fire you. Okay? Now, I love this. Kat Roby went on an extended walk. She had to retrace her steps because she's lost her glasses. That wouldn't be good. I love that. Laura Bigiven Voorhees, nice to see you. And it was so fun to put a name with a lovely face at the decluttering party. I love that. And it's nice to see you. And I love that the YouTube Live this afternoon is a bonus for you. So yeah, we'll be here for another like 9 minutes. And then we do have a declutter party at 9 a.m. If anybody wants to join the declutter party at 9 a.m., tickets are still available at destinationdecluttered.com. Just sign up for the mailing list if you're not on it. Now, here's a cool thing. Yeah, I realized that painting my heart-shaped rocks is a form of decluttering because I will be placing them on my favorite trail for Pride Month. I planted them in I love it. I painted them. So cool. So notice, you doing a craft, you doing something with the stuff in your home can help you declutter it because you don't have the ingredients anymore. Now you've done the project, and now those cool rainbow rocks can be outside inspiring people, Yeah. So yay for you. I love that. And I love it when I see painted rocks when I'm going out for a walk. That's awesome. Okay. Now I love it. Ellen just puttered and decluttered, as I like to say. Now she's going to hop on the bike at the gym. You rock, lady. Yeah. And Judy, I want to get back to right now because this is true. I do want to change things. Awesome. But notice your approach. Talks in the past, let's distance yourself from something that didn't work out. Talks in the past have come up when you've been frustrated and irritated, and that doesn't work. No. When you are frustrated and irritated and it starts to build up, that's when you want to write it down. Write it down so that you can be more balanced and clear-eyed when you approach, so you're not starting at in an emotional state. Right? Yeah. Okay, well, there we go. I love it. Judy says, dog appointment wins out over partying this morning, but party has to wait till Thursday. Yes, and I love that you got your ticket for the Thursday party. Also, speaking of the decluttering parties, there are a number of them. There are a ton of them this month. There are more than ever, have been, and probably will be again because of two things. One is, I love the summer, and I like to just have that I'm out of school feeling, even though I haven't been in school in decades. So I like to help give you as many opportunities as I can to declutter a little bit at a time through June, so your July and August feel more like even more vacation-y. I also say this because I know that I work my declutter parties and coaching, and all that I do is worked around my own calendar. In my calendar, I have the luxury of being able to do some really fun things, and I do take those opportunities. So I know, for example, in August, there's going to be 2 weeks where it's going to be a ghost town on all of my socials. That's why I'm reminding you of the videos. But I say this to you because scheduling things when it works for you increases the likelihood that you will do that. Okay? And we have plenty of decluttering parties happening. There's one this Thursday. There's not one this weekend or Monday. There's one the following Thursday, and then the following weekend, and there's a bunch of them. Again, I notice how I have a certain calendar in my brain, but it's not always 100% correct. So I double check what I put on the secret page that is accessed to the have access. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a bunch of them. I can't even read that many. All right. Oh, that's really nice. Kat Roby says, I just had the nicest interaction. Someone saw me looking and told me he put your glasses in a special place, and I got two walks in. Yes. Notice the story you tell yourself about what happens. You could be going through there with aggravation and frustration and looking for your glasses, and I need my glasses to find my glasses. That's to me. Or you can say, hey, you know what? It happened, and it gave me the opportunity to connect with a kind soul who saw my glasses, and it got me 2 walks in. Now, Pinky Silver Chloe, here's the special part. It is not on the website to sign up for the party. Pinky Silver Chloe, you are on my mailing list, right? So you have access to that secret hyperlinked secret page that is only available to people on the mailing list. That's where you sign up, okay? That's where you sign up. That's why, because I don't want just any old person being able to come into our parties. This is a troll sieve. If you like what we're doing and it's worth it to you, perhaps you will sign up for the mailing list. Mailing list people get access to all the stuff, but it's behind a wall because we don't want the trolls in there, right? I gotcha. That's why, honestly, you guys, every time I send out an email, it really is. It's telling you about stuff, but it's always redirecting you to go to this page because that page is Can you imagine for the amount of times I update this page, if I emailed you every time, you would punch me in the face, you know? There we go. And I love it. Kat Roby says, I will carry the SBB agenda to YouTube. Yes, we have a YouTube live this afternoon. We have a declutter party in about 5 minutes, so I will be signing off on this a little bit early. But I offer to you, you can do this. You can. If I can do it, I'm nobody special. Or maybe all of us are special. There's nothing particularly special about me, except that I got really frustrated and I was like, shit, I don't like how things are happening. But I've been taught to externalize it. I've been taught to blame other people. I was perfect and it was all their fault and it's all their fault. That didn't really work out. So I turned the lens onto me and I realized where some of it was my doing. And I didn't beat myself up about it. I loved myself through it and I said, okay, I'm going to learn from that. What could I do different next time? What can I do different next time? You know? Now, I love this. Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, my boys helped with the closet declutter. Now I can leave the closet curtain open and not be embarrassed. Yeah. And here's the thing. Instead of helped, they did help. They did do some things. Participated in the closet declutter. Doesn't that change it? Changes it slowly but powerfully. They participated in it. Okay? I love this. Seaview says, last week, as I watched you several times as I decluttered, I was able to donate 3 bags and 2 chairs. Awesome. Keep that up. That's great. You could do that every day. So here's a crazy thing. I think I was looking at it right here, and I do have to get, I'm going to sign off for just a sec. Destination Decluttered on YouTube. There are currently 733 videos there. All of them, 90% of them, are recorded TikTok lives and YouTube lives. Put one of those on in the background and pretend it's live. You may, even if you attended one of these ones, you may hear something that you missed the first time. Okay? Patty's getting ready for the party. I'm getting ready for the party. So I'm going to sign off right now. Okay? And I will offer to you, there's a YouTube live this afternoon. There's a party. There's a party going on right here. The celebration to last throughout the year. We're going to have a party today. We're going to have a party on Thursday. After Thursday until Monday, we'll be off the digital grid. And there is decluttering parties. There's TikTok lives and YouTube lives all week scheduled. If you want to know the schedule, yeah, is it live or is it Memorex? And I love it how Judy D is being able to say hi to Laura Gibbon Voorhees. And I love how people are getting to know each other during these declutter parties. Isn't it nice to have a connection, to put a name with a face? Isn't it nice to feel not alone when you thought you were alone struggling with clutter? Okay? All right, Tanya, how do I get on the party today? I signed up for the letter. You should be getting an email from me. An automatic email has been sent to you. It has a link to a page that has the way that you can sign up for the party, okay? The party happens in a minute, but you can show up at any time, okay? I have to go, people. I'm going to go hang out with the party people. I hope this was helpful, and you got this. You can do it, all right?